Let me tell you something simple that most people overlook. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. Not wealth, not invention, not leadership, not love. You can have the best plan in the world, the smartest strategy, the clearest goals, but without enthusiasm, real, contagious, emotional energy, you'll never ignite anything or anyone. Because enthusiasm isn't decoration. It's not just being positive or smiling a little wider. It's not a motivational poster or a feel-good quote on your wall. No, enthusiasm is fuel. It's the inner fire that powers your actions and multiplies your influence. Now here's the key most people miss. Enthusiasm doesn't come after results. It comes before them. People say, "I'll be excited when I succeed." No, my friend, you succeed because you're excited. You move with more intensity. You speak with more conviction. You bounce back faster. You attract people, resources, and opportunities, not because you're lucky, but because your energy is magnetic. Let me paint the picture clearly. You walk into a room with low energy, low posture, a dull tone. What happens? Nobody notices. You're forgettable. But walk in charged, alive, lit from the inside. People lean in. They listen. They wonder what you know that they don't. That's enthusiasm in action. And here's the truth. Enthusiasm can't be faked for long. It's not hype. It's not volume. It's alignment. It's what happens when your thoughts, your emotions, and your vision all point in the same direction. It's when your desire is so real, so urgent, so clear your whole being vibrates with it. That's when people follow you. That's when deals get made. That's when you feel unstoppable. Now, let's get practical. How do you cultivate enthusiasm when life isn't easy? When you're tired, stressed, overwhelmed? You go back to your why. You reconnect to the vision. You remind yourself what you're fighting for. You revisit the dream that made your heart race. And then you talk about it out loud. Because spoken words create emotion. Emotion creates motion. And motion builds momentum. You don't wait for enthusiasm to appear. You create it. You feed it with the right thoughts, the right focus, the right language. You guard it from toxic people, pessimistic voices, and emotional vampires who drain your fire. Because here's a secret. Enthusiasm is a decision before it becomes a feeling. You decide to show up with energy. You decide to speak with belief. You decide to act like your goal matters because it does. And soon your body catches up. Your mind kicks in, and you become a force. In the next part, I'll show you how enthusiasm, when applied consistently, becomes a multiplier for influence and leadership, how it draws people in, builds loyalty, and opens doors you could never force open. But for now, hear me clearly. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. But if you show up on fire, people will follow the heat. Let me tell you something most people never realize. Enthusiasm is influence, not credentials, not authority, not even experience. If you want to move people, really move them. You've got to make them feel something. And nothing moves people faster than enthusiasm. You've felt it before. Someone walks into the room and you feel their energy before they speak. They're not louder. They're not trying to impress. They're simply lit from within. They're excited about what they believe, and it shows. That's not charisma. That's emotional conviction. That's enthusiasm, doing what no business card ever could. When you're enthusiastic about your message, your vision, your mission, people pay attention. Because energy is contagious. People may forget what you said. They may forget what you did. But they will never forget how you made them feel. And enthusiasm? It makes people feel alive. Now here's something that might surprise you. Enthusiasm creates leadership. Think about it. Why do we follow people? Not just because they know the path. We follow them because they believe in the path. Because they walk with certainty. Because they speak with fire. No one wants to follow someone who's dragging their feet, doubting every move, apologizing for their ambition. But when someone leads with enthusiasm, when they radiate belief, we lean in. We listen. We trust. That's leadership born from emotion, not position. And this isn't theory. It's how movements are built. It's how great companies are started. It's how small teams conquer big goals. So if you're trying to build something right now, a business, a brand, a mission, ask yourself, am I radiating the belief I want others to catch? Because here's the deal. You can't make anyone care more than you do. And if your voice doesn't sound like you believe it, why should theirs? Now let me be clear, enthusiasm isn't constant hype. It's not noise. It's not faking a smile when life is tough. It's presence. It's purpose. It's the decision to connect fully with what matters to you and let it show. You speak differently when you believe in what you're saying. You stand taller. You listen deeper. You light up others without even trying. In the next part, I'll show you how enthusiasm fuels resilience, how it gives you energy when the path gets hard, and how it keeps you moving when logic says stop. But for now, ask yourself, am I showing up with the energy I want to receive? Because in life, people don't follow plans. They follow passion. Let's get honest for a moment. Life will test you. No matter how clear your vision is, no matter how strong your plan, there will be days when the wind blows against you, not with you. And that's where most people fade. They start strong. They speak big. They move with passion until it gets hard. Then the fire dims. The voice weakens. And the dream gets smaller. But not for you. Not if you understand this truth. Enthusiasm isn't just for sunny days. It's your engine on stormy nights. You don't build greatness by being excited only when things go well. You build it by carrying your energy into the days that don't go as planned. See, enthusiasm creates resilience. It gives your mind and body a reason to keep going when the path gets muddy. When your back is against the wall. When the world says, it's not worth it. That's when enthusiasm becomes your greatest weapon. Because when you're lit from within, when your belief runs deep, you stop looking for external permission to keep going. You push. You pivot. You persist. Let me tell you something you already know deep down. You will not reach your next level by logic alone. You won't outthink every challenge. Some of them you'll only overcome because you outlasted them. And what helps you outlast? A vision that excites you. A purpose that moves you. A fire that doesn't die when it rains. You don't need to fake being strong. You just need to feel your why again. Reconnect with it. Write it down. Say it out loud. Let it move your blood again. Because when you're fueled by deep emotional connection to your mission, you don't stop when it's tough. You rise when it's tough. That's the difference between a spark and a flame. Anyone can light up for a moment. But the ones who keep burning, those are the ones who make history. In the next part, I'll show you how to protect your enthusiasm, how to keep it alive even when you're surrounded by doubt, fear, or negativity. But for now, hear me clearly. Don't let your energy depend on the weather. Let your energy change the weather. Let's talk about protection. Because once you've lit the fire of enthusiasm, you've got one job. Keep it burning. And that means learning how to protect your energy from everything that tries to smother it. Because let's be real, the world is full of wet blankets. You've got the critics, the doubters, the just being realistic crowd. People who don't dream big and don't want you to either. You know the type. They say things like, don't get your hopes up. That's never going to work. Why don't you just play it safe? They're not evil. They're not villains. But they've settled. And people who've given up on their fire will always try to dim yours. And here's where it gets dangerous. If you're not intentional, you start absorbing that energy. You start second-guessing. You slow down your speech. You lower your goals to match their comfort zone. That's how enthusiasm dies, not in an explosion, but in quiet hesitation. So what do? You protect your circle. You guard your inputs. You become ruthless about what you allow near your mind. It's not about arrogance. It's about stewardship. Your energy is your most valuable currency. It determines how you show up, how people respond, and how fast you move. So stop wasting it on conversations that go nowhere, on people who drain more than they give, on media that fills your mind with fear, doubt, and limitations. Instead, seek out the sparks, the people who speak with conviction, the voices that challenge you to rise, the environments that fuel your forward motion. Be around others who are on fire, because flames catch. Now let's go deeper. You also have to protect your enthusiasm from yourself, from your own self-talk, from the stories you tell, from the internal critic that whispers, you're not ready. You always mess this up. This is just another failed attempt. You've got to catch that voice and replace it with truth, with power, with language that lifts, not limits. Because no one talks to you more than you. And what you say in your mind becomes how you feel in your body. And how you feel? That determines whether you show up with power or shrink with fear. In the next part, I'll show you how enthusiasm fuels connection, how it makes people listen, follow, and trust you on a deeper level. But for now, remember this: your enthusiasm is a fire, and every day, something will try to put it out. Make sure you're adding fuel, not giving away your flame. Let's talk about something powerful, something subtle yet undeniable. Enthusiasm builds connection. Deep, real human connection. You want to win hearts? Want to lead teams? Sell your vision? Inspire belief? You don't need perfect words. You don't need a script. You need to care deeply and let it show. Because people aren't moved by facts. They're moved by feeling. And when you speak with real enthusiasm, when your voice carries conviction, when your eyes light up, you don't just deliver information, you deliver energy. That's when people listen. That's when they trust. That's when they say, I don't know what it is, but I want to be around that. Think about the last time you met someone truly excited about what they do. Not fake, excited. Not over the top hype, but genuinely alive with purpose. Didn't it make you curious? Didn't it draw you in? That's what enthusiasm does. It bypasses resistance. It breaks through skepticism. It opens people because it opens you. And here's the truth. People don't want to be sold. They want to be lit up. And the fastest way to do that? Be lit up yourself. It doesn't matter if you're a speaker, a parent, a manager, a coach, or a creator. If your words are disconnected from your energy, you won't be heard. But if your voice carries truth, if your spirit is in alignment with your message, if you believe what you say while you say it, you don't just talk, you transfer conviction. And that is rare. That is magnetic. That is what changes minds. Now let me be clear. This isn't about being loud. It's not about performing. It's about alignment. When what you believe, what you feel, and what you speak are all saying the same thing, people feel it. You could whisper with intensity and still command a room. You could speak softly and still stir a soul. Because it's not the volume, it's the vibration. It's the sense that you're real, that you're present, that you mean every word. And when that happens, you build connection that no marketing strategy can fake. Now, here's where most people slip. They think connection comes from being perfect, from saying everything just right. No, connection comes from being fully you, passionate, human, engaged, imperfect, maybe, but real. And real enthusiasm is never awkward. Even if your words are clumsy, even if your voice shakes a little, when your heart is in it, people feel you. And when they feel you, they remember you. They support you. They follow you. In the next part, we'll explore how enthusiasm influences your productivity, how it fuels long-term focus, sharp execution, and real results. But for now, ask yourself, when I speak, do people hear my words? Or do they feel my energy? Because enthusiasm, when expressed with truth, makes your message unforgettable. Let's talk about something most people never connect to enthusiasm. Productivity. That's right. Your ability to focus, to finish, to follow through, to take massive, consistent action is fueled by how you feel about what you're doing. Let me explain. We've been taught to treat discipline and energy as two separate things, to believe that productivity is just about routines, schedules, systems, and yes, those things matter. But here's the truth you've probably already experienced. You don't work the same when you're excited. When you're enthusiastic, you move faster. You think clearer. You start earlier, stay longer, and bring more of yourself to the task. Why? Because enthusiasm removes resistance. It kills procrastination. It breaks the cycle of I should and replaces it with I want to. You're not dragging yourself anymore. You're being pulled forward. And that shift, that's where high-level productivity lives. Not in burnout, not in perfectionism, but in aligned energy. Now, imagine this. Two people with the same skills, same tools, same opportunity. One moves with boredom, routine, and a sense of obligation. The other, they're lit up. They're excited. They believe in the mission and can't wait to build it. Who do you think produces more? Who lasts longer? Who creates better results? Every time enthusiasm wins, because energy beats talent when talent has no fire. And it's not just about volume, it's about quality. When you're working enthusiastically, you notice details others miss. You create with more care. You problem solve faster. You bring joy into what would otherwise be just a task. That's not just work, that's flow. Now, let me be clear. You won't feel hyped every single day, but you can reconnect with your purpose every day. And when you do that, even the hard work becomes meaningful. Because enthusiasm doesn't eliminate effort. It gives it meaning. It turns your grind into growth, your checklist into momentum, your to-do list into a mission. So the next time you feel stuck, scattered, or sluggish, don't just ask, "What's wrong with me?" Ask, "Where did I lose my enthusiasm?" Because that's often the missing fuel. And here's the fix. Revisit your vision. Remind yourself why this matters. Speak your mission out loud. Move your body. Breathe deeper. Change your state, then take one bold step. That's how you reignite your drive. In the next part, I'll show you how enthusiasm isn't just for your benefit, it's a legacy tool. It shapes how people remember you, how your energy outlives your words, and how your passion becomes part of your impact. But for now, remember this. When you lead with fire, your results reflect the flame. Let me ask you something personal. How will people remember you? Not just what you did, not just what you said, but how you showed up, how you made them feel, what energy you carried into the room, what fire you left behind when you were gone. Because here's the truth. Enthusiasm leaves a legacy. It's not just a tool for performance. It's not just for selling or closing deals. It becomes the emotional footprint of your life. People may not remember every detail of your work, but they will remember how alive you were, how present, how passionate, how committed to what you believed. And that feeling, it echoes long after the meeting is over, long after the project ends, long after the conversation fades. It becomes part of your brand, your character, your impact. Think of the people who've moved you most in life. Teachers, leaders, mentors, friends. It wasn't just what they taught you. It was the spark they carried, the conviction in their voice, the way they meant what they said. That's enthusiasm in its highest form, emotional leadership. And here's what's powerful. You don't need a title for this. You don't need to be famous or brilliant or flawless. You just need to be on fire about what you stand for and let others feel that fire. Because when people feel your passion, they begin to believe more in their own potential. That's influence. That's real leadership. And it starts with how you show up today. Every interaction is an opportunity to transfer energy, to remind someone of what's possible, to spark something that outlives the moment. So don't underestimate your presence. Don't hold back your excitement. Don't tone yourself down to fit in. Let your enthusiasm be your signature. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who believe, who show up with intensity, clarity, and heart. People are starving for passion. They're tired of dullness, tired of fake, tired of people just getting through the day. You want to stand out? Be fully alive. Be fully in. Be the person who reminds others what it feels like to care again. In the next part, we'll talk about how enthusiasm multiplies your influence in leadership, relationships, and everyday life, and how just showing up with fire can change the direction of someone else's day or even their future. But for now, never forget, the energy you give off may be the spark that someone else needed to remember their own. Let's go deeper now into how enthusiasm multiplies your influence. Whether you realize it or not, you're influencing people every day. By how you show up, by how you speak, by the energy you bring into every room. And here's the key. People don't follow logic. They follow emotion. If you want to lead, really lead, you've got to make people feel something. That's what enthusiasm does. It speaks louder than credentials. It travels faster than instructions. It says, "I believe in this so much, you just might believe in it too." You've seen it in great leaders. They don't just talk strategy. They radiate belief. They show up early. They speak with spark. They care out loud. And people follow not because they're told to, but because they want to. Why? Because enthusiasm is rare. It's magnetic. And in a world full of apathy, it stands out like a fire in the dark. Now here's what most people get wrong. They think leadership is about control, about authority, about being the smartest person in the room. But in truth, the best leaders don't overpower people. They ignite them. They lead by example. They model energy. They become the thermostat, not the thermometer. They don't react to the room, they set the tone. And that tone? It's set through enthusiasm. Let me make this practical. You're leading a team? Your energy becomes the emotional baseline. You're raising kids? They model how you show up. You're building a brand? Your enthusiasm becomes your culture. In every case, your state becomes someone else's reference point. That's why it's not just nice to be energized. It's necessary. You cannot inspire others if you are uninspired. You cannot lift others if your spirit is flat. You cannot spark excellence from a place of emotional boredom. You want more from your people? Then give more of you. Now you may say, but what if I'm tired? What if I don't feel it every day? Here's the truth. Enthusiasm isn't about being fake. It's about being aligned. It's about remembering your why, even on the hard days. And on those days when the weight feels heavy, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. You just have to care enough to show up with intention. And when you do, people will notice. They will respond. They will rise. In the next part, we'll explore how enthusiasm creates momentum, how staying consistent with your emotional energy creates compounding results in business, relationships, and your personal mission. But for now, remember this. Leadership isn't about being in charge. It's about being on fire and letting that fire light the way for others. Let's talk about a powerful force that most people underestimate. Momentum. It's what makes success feel effortless. It's what separates the starters from the finishers. And yes, enthusiasm is what starts momentum. But here's the magic. It also sustains it. See, enthusiasm is not just a spark. It's the oxygen that keeps the fire alive. It's what transforms isolated action into unstoppable rhythm. Let me ask you, have you ever had a day where everything just flowed? You were focused. You were clear. You were knocking things out without even watching the clock? That wasn't luck. That was momentum. And behind that momentum was a state of mind fueled by purpose and energy. Now here's the truth most people miss. Momentum is emotional. It's not just about progress. It's about the feeling of progress, the sense that you're moving forward, that something is working, that what you're doing matters. And when enthusiasm is high, you notice wins faster. You celebrate more. You build confidence, which fuels more action, which fuels more wins. And the cycle continues. But when enthusiasm drops, everything slows. You start doubting, second-guessing, dragging your feet. Momentum doesn't die from lack of resources. It dies from lack of emotional engagement. So how do you protect your momentum? You protect your enthusiasm daily, deliberately, and on purpose. You feed your mind with what uplifts. You revisit your vision often. You move your body to move your mood. You speak your goals out loud, not just once, but every day. And you surround yourself with people who carry fire, not fog. Because success loves speed, and speed comes from state. And the right emotional state starts with enthusiasm. Let's get even more real. You will have days when nothing goes right, when you get no results, when the progress is invisible. And that's when your emotional momentum is tested. That's when most people quit. But not you. You know now that enthusiasm is not a reward for success. It's the fuel that leads to it. So when things slow down with them. Speed yourself up emotionally. Talk louder, move faster, breathe deeper. Shift your state, then take action. Because the moment you reconnect with your energy, you restart the engine, and momentum returns. In the final part, I'll show you how enthusiasm becomes a lifestyle, how it shapes your identity, how it becomes your default, not something you wait for, but something you live from. But for now, remember this. Every day you choose enthusiasm, you add weight to your own momentum. And if you keep choosing it, eventually, nothing can stop you. We've covered a lot. We've talked about energy, influence, productivity, leadership, momentum. But now, let's bring it all home. Because here's the ultimate truth. Enthusiasm is not a moment. It's a way of being. It's not something you turn on when you need to impress. It's not a mask you wear in meetings or on stage. It's not a trick. It's an identity. It's who you choose to become. Because enthusiasm isn't just a strategy for success. It is success in the inside. When you walk through life with fire in your belly, light in your voice, and purpose in your heart, you don't just chase goals. You live from a place of alignment. You stop waiting for life to be exciting. You bring the excitement. You become the spark, the initiator, the source, and that changes everything. People feel it. Doors open. Opportunities accelerate. You stop begging the world to give you permission because your energy commands attention. Now listen, this doesn't mean you'll never get tired. This doesn't mean you'll be loud all the time. This doesn't mean you fake joy when life is hard. It means that no matter what life throws at you, you come back to fire. You return to your purpose. You reset your attitude. You reclaim your presence. Because you know something the average person doesn't. The world doesn't give you energy. You give energy to the world. And when you live like that, you don't burn out. You burn brighter. You attract other people on fire. You build partnerships, friendships, communities based on shared passion. You create not from pressure, but from power. This is what great leaders, creators, parents, entrepreneurs, and changemakers all have in common. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait to be perfect. They just show up, full of belief, full of heart, full of enthusiasm. And because they do, they change things. You can be that person. Yes, you. You can walk into the next chapter of your life with a tone in your voice that says, I believe in what I'm doing, and I dare you to believe too. So don't wait for enthusiasm to strike you. You strike it daily, with action, with language, with movement, with gratitude, with vision. And when the fire goes low, reignite it, because it's not a luxury. It's not an accessory. It's your edge. In every challenge, in every meeting, in every relationship, in every dream. Lead with fire, live on fire, and leave a trail of light wherever you go.